Well, let me know, guys, what you think of that. And I think that's going to be the first run of shirts made available until Monday. Maybe I ought to wait till somebody comes up on here. What the title of this is, Breaking the Rules, is I'm going to add another coat of dope to this wing. And I'll tell you why. I got this. Let me get this. What do you think of that shirt, guys? Should we do that one? I got this dope here, and it's been thinned twice now. Of course, it's been open, thicken up, whatever. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it back up with thinner and paint another coat of dope on the fuselage. So remember, this thinner, it's $50 a gallon. It's ridiculous, the price of it, and it's kind of been sprayed over. This is the 9705, or I don't know, whatever. It's Randolph thinner. Now we have another full quart of dope. But it's getting thin. So put this aside. This is going to have to be the last coat on it, on the wing. It'll just get too heavy if I keep going. But I wanted to get it on there till it's super shiny. It's sanded really well. Yes, I'll have the link for you here in a little bit. It's available in about 5 or 6 different colors. I'm waiting for the white template so we can do it on a black shirt, because my black shirt's got holes in them. That's from grinding too fast and catching the Dremel on the shirt. Those are Gary Sinclair's designs. So we got a bottle of 2% milk here, but don't drink it. This is going to be the last brush coat on it. I told John when I talked to him today, I said, boy, I wish I had some white paint here. I'd just go ahead and paint this wing before I installed it. Really break the mold. Doing this experiment so you guys don't have to. We're going to see how much weight This because I told you I have made a 48-ounce airplane with a 16-ounce wing finish. So we're at 14. I got a little wiggle room. And I want a real nice finish on this, so I figure one more coat and then sand it. Should be good. So we're at 0. $14.25. So we'll see how much a coat of dope weighs. This is almost to the point where it's not going to take hardly any white paint to paint it. $14.25. I also have this spot on the underside here. I needed to get some dope on with the super fills on it. So, well, you can really tell that paint's thin. Really thin. Should pick up a good shine now. I better take them doors out before I glue them in there. That shirt that I'm showing here will only run 4 days. So 5 days total, but it'll end Monday. We're going to do a limited edition on everything. Not going to do like last year. I have about 12 designs. So we got 12 weeks worth. Okay. Better get the goop off of that. I think it's going to pick up a good shine this time with this thinned coat. But this is breaking my rule. We're going to see how much breaking the rules. Well, not really, because I've still only used 1 quart of clear dope. I've just kept adding thinner and thinner and thinner. But I needed to get some dope on that super fill there anyway, so. That's all the substrate paint I got left. 1 quart, so that's what I got left to finish the fuselage with. which is still from the original quartz. So as you saw, I just kept that. You keep adding thinner. Don't add more paint, just more thinner. And of course, we'll have to sand this out again. This is a nice substrate on this wing. I just hope I'm not going to regret it. If it adds an ounce to it, I'll be upset. I just can't see it adding an ounce with it this thin. This was all sanded really well. I mean, I've been sanded on it since last night. Went over to the DMV today to get my driver's license. I didn't get the real ID, I just got the driver's license. Took 2 minutes. I let them know that I was there first in line yesterday. I was fourth in line today. I think it's a scam. Total scam. Everybody was sitting in that office, had a mask on. We were talking, you know that mask don't work. What do you mean? Can you smell a fart through it? Yeah. Well, then guess what? The guy said, yeah, I already had both my shots. Yeah, good for you. Yeah, I think if I could have sprayed this on, it would have been better. But I got no more. The wing is not bagging up anymore, so that's a good sign. Okay, that's one coat. Wait a minute, flip it over, do another one. Where do you buy polyspan from? Go to Okie Air on Stunt Hanger. OKIE, Okie Air on Stunt Hanger. They have polyspan. I no longer use it. It's too heavy. Don't get me wrong, good stuff. Anti-puncture resistant, but too heavy. I've done several videos on polyspan, how to cover with it. You have to use a technique of silk span and monocoat together to get it to work good. So you got to use Cover like you would a silk span on the tips, like you would monocoat using a heat gun. People say, well, I can't get the stuff to go around the corner. Yeah, you can. Real easy. Heat. That filled up real nice. So when this dries, no problem, Phil. When this dries, flip it over, do a coat on the top, let it dry, and then sand it, and then I can't put no more dope on this because that is all that's left to finish the airplane. Should be plenty for the fuselage, but I wanted to make sure that I got a good base for this white coat of paint to go on. Now remember, this wing looks white, but there's no white paint on it. It's just that tinted clear. And when it gets its one coat of white dope on it, it'll be covered. And the pigmented paint is the heaviest paint, so you want to stay off of that as much as possible. This is silk span. This is silk span, and this is Dr. paper on this. If I'd had Japanese tissue, I'd have used Jap tissue on that, but I didn't have none, so I can't let the grass grow underneath my feet. I got to do what I got to do here. About ready to turn it over. Give it a minute or two more and turn it over and paint the other side. Then we'll sand it out, set it on by itself because I'm done with it until I get back to Dayton, where I can get over to John's, get on his nice big table and get this thing lined up. Now I don't know, I might get a hair and might get the fuselage glued on while I'm here. But I'll tell you this. When John and I worked together on putting a stabilizer in, I no longer install the stabilizer in the jig. I get the fuselage, the stabilizer goes in the fuselage in its cutout. I get the bottom molded piece put on and the top molded piece put on. The stabilizer is still loose. The wing's glued in. Stabilizer is still loose. We put it on a foam pad and then eyeball it. He eyeballs it and I eyeball it, and then we take the alignment sticks and square it up, and those come out about 100 times better than if I were to glue it in on the table. How did you tint the dope white? Okay, one more time. I've been over this several times. This quart of dope, the clear, started out half full. Then I put in 2 tablespoons of white dope into this. Then I filled it up with thinner the first time and shook it real good. Then I put 3 or 4 coats of that on the wood. Then I filled it back up with thinner and put the paper on. I just filled it up with thinner again and put another coat on. So it's been diluted now. It's got to be diluted. It's got to be in the 70% thinner range now. It's like 2% milk. pretty good. It's getting a shine to it now. Well, I got a big. I don't think I'm gonna do anything with it. It's got a misshaped right here. We might put some green putty in it. I don't know. That is. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. That's disheartening. It came out like that. Whatever. At least it's not on the top. At least it's not on the top. I guess I could put some more stupid fill in there if I wanted to level it up. I have to wait till I get back and get to use the good stuff. Stuff I got here is like 3 years old and it's kind of hard. If it was windy, he'd use some Bondo. Could not believe I saw him use Bondo on his airplane. Bondo is heavy. Superfill acts like Bondo, but it's 1/10 the weight. Bondo, sando the Bondo. So what I think I'll do here is when I get this coat on is I'll sand this with 600 instead of 320. And that way it'll be like plastic when I go to paint the white on it. Sendo the Bando. The Bob Ross of Balsa, I suppose. But you guys have seen this airplane built in real time. I haven't, no cuts, edits, or whatever. There have been a few off-camera sandouts, but I can't see forcing you guys through sitting through a Sando the Bando. So it just gets lighter and lighter every coat. I'm thinking about using a small spray gun to paint my models. What do you think about that? Well, spray guns are great. We paint these with Harbor Freight spray guns or my high dollar airbrush. That Grex airbrush. But Harbor Freight touch-up gun works just fine. See, with this kind of paint, it really doesn't matter how you get it on there. I got in trouble for saying it, but I could paint this with a bug sprayer and have a good paint job. it would just be a lot more work. There's be a lot more sanding. But hell, I love to sand anyway, so the delivery method is not where it's at. You could paint them with the brush. There's been many models in the 60s that were painted just like I'm painting here with a brush, and you couldn't see any brush strokes. And the reason being is the guy sat down with sandpaper and sanded it all flat and buffed it out. Yep, we got a little bagging right there, so it is still bagging a little. It should be okay though. This will be the final brush coat on the wing. And it'll take me 2-3 hours to sand it all out. Get it all flat again. But it should have plenty of substrate on it. So like I said, if you look at that dope there, it goes down an inch a coat. Doesn't matter whether it's thinner or dope or whatever. And that's about that with a spray gun, because it's, you know, each 2-ounce cup is about an inch in that quart can. So it takes 4 fluid ounces to do a full coat. Thank you, Phil. You get 1 coat, 2 ounces out of a spray gun for the top, and 1 coat for the bottom with 2 ounces. So 4 fluid ounces per coat. And this broke my rule about coats of dope. Got an extra thin coat on top of this wing. So I'll give you the true results to see if I made a mistake. I'm just cleaning out the brush now. I'll be right back with you guys. I think it will only deviate by 1/2 ounce. And the half an ounce that it will deviate by will be greatly improved with the finish. Because these last airplanes, I'm just not putting enough dope on them. But I've still got to hit that magic number. It's got to be under 64 ounces. We're shooting for under 60, but definitely under 64. So if you go back and look at this airplane, this is the second airplane I built this year, well, within a year's time. This hasn't even been a year. This is the second full-size stunner that I'll finish up before the match. And that's just an hour a day. So you guys that are, and I got no room to work. I'm at home now where I got plenty of room, but I'm not ever here. I'm building in a closet no bigger than a motel room. In a little makeshift workbench that I put up. It's only 48 inches long. And then I have a piano stand that I have a 48-inch long piece of white shelf board on the other side. Oh, you'll get to see it fly. This one is going to look like my red, white, and blue one. Well, I hope it don't weigh 64 ounces, but this is the power plant setup right here. This is a carbon fiber fuel tank, weighs nothing. There's a PA75 on a muffler. The bad thing about these PAs is they use 8 ounces of fuel in a pattern. The propeller that it takes weighs 2.5 ounces. I'm going to try to get a big wood propeller. Like I have some 14.6 rev ups. I'm going to try some rev ups on this baby. Get rid of them big carbon mamas. I left the extension off for this model. They look better with the extension on it, but the extension weighs 1/2 ounce. You got to leave parts off. So I'm going to have to cheat and make the nose taper as much as I can. I mean, nobody uses extensions anyway, except me. The extensions do 2 things. They make the nose flow so you can get a nice taper down into the spinner because the motor's set farther back. And they set the motor farther back to the center of gravity. Very similar to what I did with this honking brick that goes in here. This I'll tell you what this weighs. It don't weigh nothing. These are $100, but that $100 will get you a fuel tank that weighs 1.4 ounces. Now you measure a metal tank. Let's see, do I have any here? Yeah, I do. I don't even have an 8-ounce metal tank. This is I don't know, it's a shorty, but a metal tank weighs 2.5 ounces. So you can see it right there, 2.55. And this is not even as big as this one. .5 ounce and a half. So you got to save whatever. But running a PA75, you're going to use 8 ounces of fuel. Yes, I run 3 degrees motor offset. If you look here, see how close it is here and how far it is here? That's 3 degrees. And if you do it the way that I do it, it doesn't show up on the airplane. But this particular nose structure is super solid. We were just talking about this. The motor mounts are routed from front to back. See that little groove there, 1/4-inch groove? They're routed from there all the way up to here. So you take away some of that maple, and then a 1/4-inch piece of balsa wood is slid between the two. end grain running this way. Then a piece of 64th plywood is glued to the top of that. Then that's keyed in to this here, and this floor is keyed in to this floor, to the bulkhead. Not only that, this is keyed into the doubler. So this piece runs all the way to the fuselage outside. So the key, I mean, this is solid. This is like a baseball bat. You can't squash it. Then you have carbon fiber doublers. And then the hard mounts. These are basswood hard mounts for the cowl. Now, I like to run the cowl where it has a pin in the nose and one bolt in the back. That's the lightest way to do things, except when you're running a pipe. The only way you can do that is a pin in the front and two in the back. Well, because I'm setting this up that it could take the operation if necessary, meaning I'm setting this up to run on the muffler, but it will have a pipe tunnel in it so that later down the road, if I feel this motor is choked and doesn't have enough power, I can cut this out. This is light ply. Cut this out, and the pipe tunnel will be already in there, and then cut a hole for the pipe. It'll all be sealed inside here. Cut a hole for the pipe and slide the pipe in and hook it up to a header on this, if necessary. But you got to remember, when you put that pipe on there, that's 3 more ounces slung under the lateral center of gravity. You know, these engineers that are on the forum, they say it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Well, it's pretty simple. If you're flying around in a circle, here's your lines and here's your fuselage. And this is the lateral center of gravity right straight through this. And you have centrifugal force on this thing, and you add a pipe 3 ounces under this line. What's it going to do? It's going to want to roll up and the outboard wing fly up. So the guys said, okay, great, we'll lower the lead outs. Well, that's just disguising the problem. So the only true way to get rid of is to first leave the pipe off, so you save yourself 3 ounces. You got the header, the pipe, the coupler. It's probably more closer to 4. And the mount and all that. But it's all slung underneath that center line. That all goes with my theory on the lead out, the bell crank mount. Them guys said that you could mount the bell crank anywhere, and it didn't make a hill of beans. Well, common sense tells you centrifugal force. The center of the lead outs is trying to line up with the center of this under centrifugal force. And in order to keep it flying straight, you got to run a straight line all the way out to the tip weight box so that it all stays straight instead of doing that jostling back and forth. And when I see them airplanes fly, I can see all the engineering mistakes made. They don't think that you can see it, but I can see it. You just got to watch it real close and see what it's doing. Is it when you give it up like that, is the outboard wing rolling up? They say, well, it's warped. No, it's not. It's all that weight slung underneath the lateral center of gravity. They went to these. Let me kill the myth on a 4-inch bell crank. If you have a Vico 3-inch bell crank, from the center of the pivot to the first hole, you have 1/2, 3/4, and 1 inch. And you have a 1-inch horn here. If you have it at 3/4 at the bell crank and 3/4 at this horn and 3/4 at the elevator, what do you have? You have 1-to-1, just like what we have here: 3/4, 3/4, and 3/4. What's the difference whether you have a 4-inch bell crank or not? They say, well, more leverage. It's more mechanical advantage to try to lever around the corner all this heavy weight. And the electric airplanes are notorious for that big battery, that big brick that's stuck up in the nose. And if you don't think you can feel that, all you have to do is fly an electric airplane and go, wow, what? I mean, that's a sinker in the nose. They come down and you're thinking, is this thing going to turn? It's just terrible. So they run them tail heavy, then they don't groove. So then they make the nose longer and make the tail longer to try to get it to turn. Well, you're just chasing your tail. So the best way to do it, in my humble opinion, the best numbers that have worked so far, the 11.5-inch cord, 9 3/4 nose, 16 1/4 tail moment, and a light power plant up front. Now, this one here's a little bit, going to be a little bit longer because I'm running a motor that's 1 ounce heavier, and I'm carrying around this honking muffler here. This puppy here, see, a Super Tiger weighs 12 ounces, 12 3/4, something like that. With the muffler, this mama here weighs 14.15, and you add the tank, that's 1560. So all this shit here painted and ready to go has to be. So this is, kind of think of this is how you have to do it. We have a maximum of, well, I like to have 60 ounces. So 60 minus 15.5, 15.5 equals 44.5. We know the lanyard is going to weigh 3 ounces, minus 3 ounces. That's 41.5. There's probably some other crap in there. I'm, fuel line and incinerating. This airplane, without any hardware, it has to be under 40 ounces to come out at 60 ounces. You got, I think it's 22 ounces of crap that goes in it. So we'll clear it out. If you're going to be sub 60, we'll say 59.5 minus 22. Painted, finished, ready to go. Tip weight and all, it has to be 37.5 ounces. You're going to come out sub 60. Sub 64. Clear. So we'll go 63.5 minus 22. 41 ounces. 41.5 ounces. And that's all you got. So, in a 64-ounce airplane, let's figure it at 60, because I like 60 a lot better. They fly much better at 60. 60 minus 22. That's 38 ounces, minus 3 for the wheels. I'm sure there's other stuff I'm forgetting. 60 minus 22 equals minus 3. 35 ounces. And now we have, we'll say, a 7-ounce finish. Minus 7-ounce finish. The airplane has to weigh 28 ounces without any paint on it. Ready to go. And that's with a 7-ounce finish. So tell me how hard it is to do that. And that's why guys don't build light airplanes. It is very difficult to get an airplane this size at 28 ounces with no covering, no paint on it, and let alone hit the 60 mark. But that's what you got to do. And in order to hit that mark, you have to be watching everything. You have to, I'm not sure that I should have put that coat of paint on it. We'll weigh it up here in a second and see what it weighed. But it's hard to hit that mark. You got to make sure that all the glue is wiped out of it. You got to make sure that any piece of wood that's not glued to something else is not there. This finish has to be sanded primo so that you can use the least amount of paint to get a nice finish. Yeah, I could just scab this together and go fly it, and it'd be great. You're not going to get any appearance points for it. It would fly much better without paint on it, but you're not going to get any appearance points. If you don't have appearance points, you're out of the game. So building these airplanes at these weights is not an easy chore. People say, well, why are you always weighing? Why are you always weighing stuff? Well, I want to know where I'm at, what I have to leave off. Okay, let's see what it weighs, how much it added, see if I'm going to cry. Nope, added a 1/4 ounce, 7 grams. So good shape on that. So the thinner paint didn't add much, so I'm happy with that, and it'll add to the finish. But it all has to be sanded back out. Any questions on light building? People say weight doesn't matter because they can't do it. Boy, it's nice. This thing came out slick. Few spots in it. There's a spot underneath. You cannel it just right. You cannel it just right. I got a flat spot right here. Oh, can't see it. I got a flat spot right there. And I tried to, it was the worst over here. I tried to get it filled in, but this flat spot runs all the way to here, so it's that long. So I'm going to wait till I get back to Dayton to get the creamy superfill in it, and I'll try to get that flat spot out of it. That's about the only big problem with this wing is that one flat spot. But hell, that's to be expected. Working in the closet. I gotta do what I gotta do. If I didn't show you that on camera, nobody would ever see it. The only guy that's ever going to see that is me. It's on the underside. It's very slight. You have to catch it in the light just right. But Jim Lynch would catch it. He'd go, "Hey, what are you gonna do about that?" So I gotta go after it and fill that. And it's probably only 10 or 15 thousandths. It's enough that I can see it. Might be able to get it out this way, I don't know. So you can see it right here. Well, you can't see it from there where you're at. We'll see if I can pull it in for you. when you run the block over it, it's catching the high spot there and the high spot there and leaving the groove. So I'll probably work on this off camera and get it blocked down as best I can before adding a skim coat of superfill. And like I say, it's probably, let me look here. Not even noticeable with the, you can just, like I said, you can feel with your hand better than your eyes. And when I run my hand over it, I can feel it. And trust me, if you can feel it, you'll be able to, it'll stick out. White, not so much, but if I'm going to paint this insignia blue or that green or whatever, I haven't really made up my mind on the paint job yet. Could end up just like my Continental, like the original. I always have one airplane painted in that art shawl scheme throughout the years. That art shawl scheme, that takes me back to my childhood. I really like that paint scheme. That's what's on my Continental, is that original paint job. You know, I probably can get this out, just sand it without adding superfill. Or most of it anyway. Coming out of there pretty good. But I don't want to sand through the paper. You sand through the paper, you killed yourself. Now, in the days of DC 540, I'd have just taped that off there and shot like 4 coats of DC 540 on there, and then sand it down, and then it would have built, and then I'd have shot another coat on it. I think this is going to fix without adding anything to it. I got some of that other primer, but I hate to add paint. I just don't have any room. I have been known to change up paint schemes, just like my high roller. That was not the original paint scheme, was going to be on the high roller. But it started getting close to 64 ounces, and I knew that if I didn't change up the paint scheme and make it basic, we'd be over the limit. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen to this airplane, where I have to change up my paint scheme for weight saving, but I will. Because it just, once you fly a light airplane, you won't go back to these lumber wagons. At least I won't. I will always try to build them lighter and lighter and lighter. And the thing about me, if I don't like the airplane, it'll sit on the wall. I don't care. I'll build another one till we get one. You know, people say, well, you don't trim enough. Well, you can't trim out some of these inherent problems that these planes have. Like my Monado over the back of my left shoulder here. Beautiful airplane. Bad engineering mistake. Too long. I even tried, if you remembered in the videos before I took it to Joe Nall, I even tried to correct the mistake by making the elevators bigger. It didn't work. I mean, it flies all right, but it's not what I wanted. Too long. That's pretty close. Can we see the Continental paint job? Certainly. Let me set this out of the way. And set the wing poker upper out of the way. That thing would poke a hole in the wing quick as hell. Get this out of the way and this out of the way. It'll sit right there on the bench. Still snowed under. I can't get my garbage out. Yeah, set this over here. This airplane is an exact duplicate of the original, except the nose is cut short. He had a super long nose on it. There we go. Let's see what they said over here. 85 here and perfect flying day, I'll bet. So this airplane, I don't know, it's about 10 years old. I built a bunch of these Continental models, but it has my hinges on it, and it's super light weight. It's in the 40-ounce range. The original, I think, was probably in the 60-ounce range, but it's getting kind of beat up, you know. Got a little spot on the nose. I could fix all that, but it's just as easy for me to build a new one. That little air tank back there is a balsa air tank, painted silver with some 64th band plywood on it. And of course, pilots painted in the same scheme that Tom did, except I don't have bloodshot eyes in this one because I'm not crazy enough to sit and paint with one hair. Has my gold leaf letters that I showed how to do. This thing is dusty. I ought to take my buffer and buff it out again. But this is a classic airplane. It's not a PA airplane. I'm going to show how to do these on this airplane. These are hard to do and get to look like that, where they transition perfect. That right there is probably 6 applications of superfill. You take a plywood template of that arc. You measure down from the datum line to the center line of the wing and mark it here, and then draw a straight line out. And you glue that arc. Make sure you make 2 identical, a right and a left. And you glue that arc in 64th plywood on there, and then you start filling it with superfill. Well, what happens with these contours, I'll give you the secret. What happens with these contours is that it's going this way and that way all at the same time. Well, what happens with that is when you sand up to it with sandpaper to get that superfill, you dig into the nose of the fuselage. So you end up with a thumb groove in there. Ask me how I know. Not on this airplane, but I've done this stuff so long. I've done it, so many times. You have to hard the nose up. So you want to wait to put those on until after the fuselage, the nose is glassed. The nose of this airplane is glassed back to here with Z-epoxy, so that this becomes real hard like a bat, and you won't dig into it with 220 sandpaper. Of course, the canopy's installed the same way that I do all mine, so that it looks like it's part of the airplane. It's not just stuck on there. But you get one shot to do that, and I've shown that many times. These wheel pants are different than the originals. I'll show you these. I think I got a ball driver here that's the right size. That ain't it. That ain't it. I don't think that one's it either. Maybe I don't have one on there. Now, you got this, guys, you're going to have to take my word for it. The thing I didn't like about Tom's wheel pants is that if you ever needed to replace a tire, you had to sand half the wheel pan off. So I put a screw here and a screw back here, and this cap comes off, and this is all hollow inside here. You want to change the wheel, you just take the half off, change the wheel, and then screw it back on. So, and this airplane has a George Aldrich Super Tiger 46, and if you look at the nose here, you see how this is offset. Well, that's because the venturi on a Super Tiger 46 is offset, so it's not in the center. So you have to do it that way. And not only that, when you look at it from the side, this line right here keeps the profile of the shape of the fuselage better. Because if I'd have had that out, it would look like it was cut in, like so. I got lots of stuff here. I got lots of stuff. Probably if I wanted to, I could get a few airplanes out of here with what I got here, except all the motors are now in Dayton. Well, that's not true. I got 10 motors sitting on the shelf there, but I'd have to work on them. This is a Super Tiger 46 that's very tired. It needs rings. I got some Merkles. We could make some Merkle stunners. Oh, I got a Super Tiger 60 here. So here's another one to add to my pile. Forgot I had this one. So I could make some airplanes here. Push come to shove. I got 10 in Dayton, and here's an 11th. Might want to take this back with me, because I'm getting ready to do another Brian Gardner one. This one here is flat. It's got no ring left at all, no compression. And somebody's done something that's a sacrilege. They've drilled a They've drilled the case out for 632 bolts. Don't ever do that. These motors don't need all that big screws. Hell, if a PA75 can be held on with 440s, why wouldn't a Super Tiger 60? Let me go put this up. Here's what that airplane looks like in a photograph. Pretty nice. It's pretty nice. This airplane is the one that got me this particular model was the one that got me interested in stunt in the late 60s. Tom Worden came out with that airplane. He had a Monado and a Continental. He had a green one and a purple one. Nobody knew about the green one. They only knew about the purple one. And he talked about that they flew like a lowered 49 Lincoln. Well, I know why now. Later on in life, after learning what I've learned, they flew like they were lowered Lincoln because the nose was long and didn't have any elevator. Mine has more elevator than his, twice as much, just like I did on that model back there. The elevator was 2 inches wide. That ain't enough, especially when you start getting the weight up there. So learning things after building hundreds of airplanes has helped considerably. Hey, Gary, I didn't get the white template for the black shirt, the one with the white lettering. I've got that one up on Teespring now, but let me see here. I could post a link, I suppose. Paste. And enter. Where the hell's enter on this thing? It's over there. That's a link to that shirt. I think I want to take Dr. Pepper off of there, though, because I don't want to get cracked on a copyright. Oh, no, cancel. I don't want to close out of this. Are you sure you want? No, I don't want to exit. Man, about killed the whole stream there. Need a 12-year-old. Well, I'll look in the emails again and see if I can find the white one. Because it looked good on the black shirt. It looked real good. Anyway, the link to that shirt is in the chat box there. That shirt will run for 4 days, or it's 5 days total, 4 days and so how many hours, and then we'll do another one. I got them made already. I just haven't posted them. And we want to thank Gary Sinclair for the design on those shirts. I just hope I don't get cracked on the Dr. Pepper logo. Of course, it's kind of, you can't really read it. You just got to know what it is. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Well, we've been on an hour and 10 minutes. 20 watchers, 9 likes. How come there's not 20 watchers and 40 likes? Leave a comment down in the description box. What would you like to see? Because I read all those comments. I don't answer all of them all the time because I don't have enough time in the day to do all this stuff. Get the plates spinning, get the sanding going, painting. How can I keep up with everything? You know what? I think I'm going to edit or add designs. Cancel. I don't want to save the thing. Listings. Leave. I want to kill this one. Archive it. Yeah, I'm going to, I ended that. I don't want to get hit with a copyright, Gary. So you're going to have to get the Dr. Pepper off there. Or just paint it red, that spot red. Or Dr. and block out Pepper, whatever. I don't want to cause any waves. Okay, great. That'd be super. Yeah, I don't want to cause any waves. Get sued for infringement or whatever. So that link is no good no more. You can't get one of them shirts. We'll get it worked out here. I don't think they can say anything to me about using it on my airplane. Yeah, no, not the Stunt, the Dr. Pepper off the airplane. The logo. I don't want the logo on the airplane. I don't think they'll say anything to me about using it on my airplane because I'm not making any money on it. But if I sold a shirt, that'd be copyright infringement, and I just don't want to get involved with that. Of course, I'd give them the $3 that we're going to make on it. Whatever. Ain't making no money at this. Settings, visibility, private. Off. Get that off. End immediately. Yeah. Good. None sold, nothing to be paid. That's good. We'll get them up today. Anything with Dr. Pepper on it or anything that's a copyright logo, please take it off. Well, that's about all I got. Been an hour and 15 minutes. You watched me put a couple coats of dope on, show an airplane, babble about weight, show some motors. This is an old PA 75. This is number 54. This is the original batch from when my Thunderbolts were built. The other one that I have is number 190 something, I think. It might be 200 something, 240. I know it's way up there. I don't know if there'll ever be any more of those. It's a good motor, lots of power. The Hangar Hobby link is not working. Well, let me see here. Oki Air is not working, you're saying? Let's go to admin. Admin. News. Oh, there's Oki Air right there. Yeah, it's working. Copy. We'll go here. Click on this link right here. It'll take you right to Oki Air page. That is the place to get the poly span. Yeah, there's no more stunt hanger. Let that go. Got my publisher software I found, so I might be doing something. I just don't have enough time in a day, guys, to watch the forum, babysit all the babies, stream these movies, build these airplanes, run this video site. You know, I got to have a little free time for myself. So that's basically what I'm doing. I mean, get the plates a spinning. Look up Ed Sullivan, Eric Brin. You'll know exactly what I'm up against. He gets a plate spinning on a stick, and then he spins another one on a stick, and then he spins a cup and saucer on the table, and he gets them all going. About 25 of them going. It's pretty great, and they don't stop spinning because he's moving around getting the plates to spin, and it's funny. I remembered him from the Ed Sullivan show. I just didn't remember his name. And then somebody came up with his name, so I won't forget it now. I see a can of DC 540 sitting there on the shelf. I can fix that spot. This is the good stuff, I think. Let's see here. Contains ketones, toluene, and is extremely flammable and dangerous. Do not spray near sparks, heat, or open flame. Vapors harmful if inhaled. Keep area well ventilated during use until all vapors are gone, and do not smoke. No kidding. Exhaust all flame, pilot heaters, turn off stoves, electronics, and any other sources of ignition. The contents is under pressure. Provide prolonged exposure to sunlight or heat from radiant stoves and other sources. This stuff is high in, oh, now I can't even think of the name of the stuff. No, what's that hot thinner? Shit. Brain fart. Not too lean. It's got, let me look here. I know what it is. I just can't. It's on the tip of my tongue. Where vapors mist windows during application for watering. Oh, crap. I don't know. Xylene. There we go. This, well, what link is not working? Because Stunt Hanger is working fine. There's no Stunt Hanger hobby, if that's what you're looking for. Today at 10 o'clock. So we had somebody approve and send an email. Yeah, this is high in xylene. When you sand this stuff and the dust gets on your hands start to get numb. I don't know, you're supposed to use gloves. I got them. I don't like them. They make your hands sweat. So I just, I'm going to die anyway. It might be a year sooner, whatever. Because I'm sanding with this. I'll never know. I've inhaled more fumes in a lifetime than one guy should, so it don't matter. So get a little on your hands tingle. It's good stuff. It's the best. Is that another can of it up there? Nope. This is Duplicolor Silver Metallic. This will work in a pinch. It's lacquer. It says right on a can. If you want to use Duplicolor for like a silver de-icing boot or whatever, you can use this. My Tucker Special, the gold on the wings is Duplicolor. Oh, links for the shirts. Yeah, not working. They'll be up in a bit. Had to modify it a little bit. I don't want to get in trouble. So Gary's working on that. Not supposed to do that. Ball driver works great as an ear scratcher, though. Whew, get the wax out of it. Mm. Anyway, I guess what the hell does that say? Yeah, we'll show it. Yeah, it didn't like that. Don't matter to me. Don't like cuss words on there. So I do have a little bit of DC 540 I can work that spot over with, and it's at a reasonable weight now. That as long as I don't do any more than that spot, and I tape it off and only do that spot, I'll be fine. And there's enough in that can to do that spot, so that's what we're going to do. That would be lighter than Superfill. I guess we can start sanding on this now if you guys want to watch me sand this stuff. So this full quart is still my original quart of clear with thinner added. Keep thinning it down. Thinner doesn't weigh anything because it all evaporates off. And it's getting shiny. You can see the shine in it right here. Feels so nice. There's just no bumps anywhere on this. I gotta fix that bottom spot. Why would I leave it off for? This is 1500. This is this is a 600. The paint will go on this so nice. This will be a better finish than my Dr. Pepper plane. My Dr. Pepper plane tastes pretty damn good. What happens is, when you're doing these, you go, "Well, that's good enough." You can't do that. I know what's going to happen here. Is I'm going to end up flying this airplane at the Nats. And it won't be my best flying airplane. My best flying airplane needs to be refinished. But I'm afraid that if I refinish it, it'll pick up too much weight and kill the flying characteristics, so I just let it be a rat. Was that one piece sheet? No, three pieces. Center section, and a piece on each side of the center section to go around. I showed that in the molding videos. You have to join the sheets together and then stand them flat on the bench before they go on the mold. I really need somebody to take over my channel and categorize everything so you can find stuff. Everything from push rods to lead out, landing gear, it's all been covered on my channel. Molding of these sheetings, compound molding, straight form molding, how to silk span, how to do gold leaf lettering, or how I did the lettering on those two airplanes anyway. Not the correct way, but it worked. The correct way is with sizing, but I didn't want to mix mediums, so we used dope as sizing. I get this back to John's this weekend, and we get it together, it'll take me a week to do the fuselage and be ready to paint 2 weeks. Except I don't have a canopy. I don't know what I'm going to do for a canopy. I have to look in my stuff, see if I got one. Get that or order one. I don't want to pull one. Maybe you can. John's got the vacuum box. I tell you, Danny's got that tooling board that the wheel pant was carved out of for making carbon fiber parts. That stuff would be great as a canopy mold, because it's smooth as a baby's bottom. So I've taken all the shine off this wing here, and it's all gone flat. And when I say flat, I'm looking into the paint. There's not any shiny spots in it. And that's what you want. If I took some rubbing compound and rubbed this, it would get shiny. And the only way you're going to get a light finish is doing exactly what I'm doing. Because I'm removing what I put on. Just leaving the low spots. But I wanted to get that extra coat on there, because I want an extra finish on this airplane. A light extra finish. Remember this spot right here. Buenas tardes. ¿Cómo está? Hey, muchas gracias. This spot right here, both sides, top, bottom. This spot right here is what normally sticks out like a sore thumb. Nobody spends enough time sanding that out. Hard to do, hard to get it perfect, but you gotta try. If you can feel it, you can see it. Basically what we're doing here is trying to make a diamond. And a diamond works off light refraction. So if you got bumps like an orange peel or paint brush strokes or whatever, the light doesn't refract off of it. And a mirror is shiny because glass is shiny. Because you could take a piece of glass and spray paint the back side of it silver or black or white or whatever color, as long as the glass was clean, didn't have a speck of dust on it, it'd have great reflection because the glass is smooth. The silver backing just shows up better, but when you look at a custom car, it's painted black. There's black cars, and then there's black cars. And those black cars that are sanded perfectly smooth and you can't see any flaws anywhere, those are the jewels. And black is the hardest color to paint. I would never attempt it on an airplane. Now, back in the late 90s and early 2000s, Matt Newman had a black Stuka. Looked pretty damn good. I don't know what it weighed, but it looked good. Either he had a lot of paint on it or a lot of elbow grease on it. I can't, depending on the weight, I can't tell you. Matt needs to go back to his Stukas, get away from his electrical airplanes. He flew them Stukas much better. They flew much better. See all the chalk that's coming off of them? This dope is amazing stuff. It dries so quick. Back in the day, this stuff would load up and load the paper. But this stuff just chalks off. I think it's because it's 50-year-old dope, though. I think it was dry when it went on. You know, they made stuff a lot different 50 years ago than they do today. (1972), so it was 49 years old. Still usable. I will probably spend the rest of the day doing this. I don't know how you guys can sit through it. Here's a trick. When you're standing up against this leading edge or around here or whatever, use this finger, this one right here. You run that on there and you hold the sand, or you can even use the edge of this finger. Run it along, so you're not sanding on that edge. If you touch that edge with the sandpaper, it will cut right through it, and you'll be recovering it, and you'll be crying. You have to stay off the edges. Now you want to give the cap strip, attention. But you have to stay off that cap strip. That's a good job on that one. I just hope the paint lays down good. John's got one paint gun that really puts the paint out nice. I keep buying them, but they don't do what his does. Afternoon, Mark. You see them guys with the green names in the chat box? Those guys are paid subscribers. It'd sure be appreciative if you guys would spend the $4.95 a month to help me out with this channel. I'd like to go on a membership drive. It's different from subscribers, and yeah, I have been lax on putting out some of the benefits for the subscribers because there's just not that many of them. And I've been putting out more and more of these videos, the Hangar Rash and the other things. So I hope you guys will stick with me, and we're going to make it worth your while. But where could you get an afternoon of entertainment of a nut standing like a wild man for $4.95 a month? You just can't. Now, this could have had talc in it. Afternoon. This could have had talc in it. But I even have some of that zinc stearate crap. But what that does is put gypsum on the wing. That's rock. And what are we trying to do? We're trying to leave stuff off. So this is clear dope. I swear if I had white paint, I'd paint this thing one coat. One coat and then put it together with a white wing. Gotta try some different stuff. Keep doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity. So we're looking for a better finish at the same weight. So I'm changing things up a little bit. I mean, if my new finishing method is not new, just adding an extra coat happens to add a ½ ounce, but the finish comes out a point better, it's worth it. But if the finish comes out the same and it's a ½ ounce heavier, it ain't worth it. We could paint it with hobby epoxy. Yeah, that'd be great. Shoot some urethane on it. Let me give you a little rundown on what some are saying too. They say, well, we use base coat, clear coat, automotive, base coat, clear coat, because it has more solids. Yeah, it has more solids, but it's heavier. Nothing gases off. This Randolph dope that comes from Wick, without doing that decanting business, which is terrible because the binder, you're taking the binder off of it. Let me tell you what happens when you watch Wendy videos and he'll turn a can of dope upside down and let it settle, you know, so that the fluid, or maybe it isn't upside, I don't know how he does it, but he decants it. So he lets it sit on the shelf for a month or two, and it separates the clear from the pigment. Well, that clear is not clear, it's the binder. So when you decant that paint, the stuff that holds it down to the surface is what you're pouring off. So when you sand it, it chalks off. It's like sanding chalk. I'd much rather have the binder in it. You know, he adds the thinner, but thinner is not binder. You have to do a little research on paint, how paint, especially lacquers, work. We have a mixing station at work, and if I want to make a color, you know, I can use the binder and then the vehicle, which would be clear dope, and then mix up the chemicals or the pigments on the scale and make any color I want. But I just have a hard time with it because they're urethane toners. I'm sure it wouldn't do anything, but because that's how Brookings made me that green. Almost got it. So we've been working on this for a half an hour on one panel, sanding it out. And trust me, even if I got this done, it's going to take another sand out. Let's see what he says here. Yes. Here's how it works, Mark. The pigment is mixed into the binder. The binder is a clear that works with the pigment to suspend it. Then the vehicle is mixed in to the binder, which would be the clear dope. So, yeah, our mixing station, I can make whatever I want using clear dope as the vehicle instead of their vehicle, the urethane vehicle or the enamel vehicle. So you could put clear dope in there. But you would want to use the non-tautening clear, which is crystal clear, because then it doesn't have any yellow tint in it. So if you get, how you mix paint is you have a scale, you open the book, look at the paint code, it tells you 46 grams of pearl green, 10 grams of magenta, 5 grams of swift white. You know, it'll give you a mix out, and you pour that in there on the scale until it reads the correct amount of grams. Then you pour the binder into that, and it'll tell you how much binder to put in it, which is, you know, let's say it's 100 grams of binder. So now you got the can filled up yay far. You fill the rest up with clear dope, and then you have your color. We also have a prophet at work, which a prophet can take. It's a laser. You can set it on the piece of metal, push the button, it'll shoot a laser down into the paint, and then it'll bounce back up, read the paint code right off the paint. And that's how paint actually works. I mean, paint is a giant chemistry experiment. So if you're going to be a chemist, the biggest thing is, why would you mix products? You know, they got chemists that know that their shit works with their stuff. So don't buy Randolph dope, and just because 3608S DuPont thinner is $20 cheaper a gallon, expect it to work the same, because it don't. 3608S will work. The S stands for slow, by the way. will work in a pinch, but it leaves the paint flat. Yeah, you can buff it up. It'll come up to a shine, but you can tell the difference between the thinners. Like I say, I'll sand this out. It'll look done. It'll get 2 more sandings. We ain't putting no more paint on it though. That is the end of the paint. We're on the outer limits where I want to be, because it's going to be an ounce heavier. We'll be at that 16-ounce mark painted. $720 squares, so it won't be a big problem. But there again, it doesn't matter how much wing area it has or how much wing loading it has that much weight. I didn't think it was as crucial as it is, but since I started building light airplanes, night and day. I don't know, I wasted so much time trying to make them look super nice, putting all that paint on there, getting every piece of grain filled, and you just want a finish that's good enough, and you can do that in 1 quart of clear. But there's a lot of sanding. Because my Thunderbolt, when I painted it, I cheated a little bit. And I'll tell you how. Let me get that. For the longest time, this was my favorite airplane. It's been cracked and it's pretty ratted out now. I mean, obviously it's been crashed. And there's some things in here that I would do different. A lot different. But this airplane here was painted with, I mixed white. I had, 2 quarts of white, and I put 1 ounce of black in it and 1 ounce of silver. And if you look at this in the sunlight, it has silver flake in it to simulate metal. I painted this airplane, and I wasn't really worried about the weight of it. I was worried about the look of it. So I put the paint on until it looked good, like Danny said, had the paint stand bending over. And then I shot urethane on it, and it ruined it. Airplane flew okay. Had I asked Billy what his weighed before I built this one, I would have never done it this way. It looked really sharp. Been on the front row at the Nats several years in a row. It's 2007 Plane of the Year in Win Paul's Stunt book. You can look at that and see how flat that is. Well, that's all urethane. It's a spray shine. When this airplane hit the ground in Memphis, I was about fit to be tied. I was trying to beat. I mean, this. I shouldn't have flown it, is what I shouldn't have done. I can't think of the guy's name. The guy who designed the Cavalier. He was ahead of me by a half a point, and I just couldn't have that. The wind was blowing. I had that baby pumped up all the way on a bunch of nitro. Just ran out of fuel on the upward leg of the 4-leaf clover. And there was no saving it. It went over the top and hit the ground straight in. I built 3 of these in this series. I built 6 or 5 of them total. Ty Marcucci's got the last one that I built. It's the electric one. And if I ever do another one, I'm going to use this wing in it instead of the wing that Billy designed it with. This wing would carry it better and look more scale. Well, that's about all I got. Been on for 2 hours. That's probably plenty. All you guys can stand with me. As soon as I get the templates done from Gary, I'll get the shirts up. I'll announce it on Stunt Hanger. I'll put a link in the description box of these Hangar Rash videos, and we'll get them out to you. So thanks for watching. We'll see you later on today. Fair winds, tight lines. See ya.